Anyhow, so I want to go down the palette and show you. I have a new palette, and what I did was I just took all the paint and put it on this palette, but I added a couple of drops of my Magic Clear, because if the paint sits out for a while, it's going to get stiff. That's just, it's oxidizing, so it's going to harden. Add a couple of drops of your Magic Clear, and then mix it up with a palette knife, and you'll have your paint nice and fluid again. Or if you want to, you can take a palette knife, drop it in some aluminum foil, fold that up, put in the freezer. Just do this. Oopsie. And there you go. Take it out later and let it defrost for an hour or so, and you're in business. Just scrape it off there, put it back on your palette. Isn't that a nice tip? Do that, guys. You probably want to do that a lot, so you're not wasting paint. And that's another thing I want to mention. Lori and I discussed this. Paint to us has got to be good, but so does teaching. So they have to go together. We want to make sure you have good paint, but we're also very enthusiastic about you learning how to paint. That's a big deal. Okay, so I'm going to take my liner brush. I have no idea where I'm going to start, but it just hit me to do some birds real quick. So I'm taking my liner brush. I'm going to dip into the Magic Clear I have here, put it on the palette, and I'm going to go for some white, thin it down a little. Now I have two whites, one here to muddy up and one here to keep it more fresh. Okay, you can see I'm just kind of patting it, or you could even do this, kind of like a fish out of water. See that? Okay, let's get a bird in there. Now, here's something I want you to realize. If you're a little bit shaky on doing things in the distance, my teacher, my very first teacher said, do this, get your blood flowing. And if you've had a lot of coffee, do this too, because you might be a little shaky when you go up there. Just get the blood flowing to your arms and hands. So let's get in here and do a bird. Brace yourself, take your brush like this, put your hand in here like that, hold it way back here. This will give you more stability. If you just do this, you're going to be kind of weak. I can push my hand down easy like that, but if I brace it like that, just getting, not grabbing my wrist, but just bracing it, I can have a lot more stability. So let's try a bird. Okay, doing a little V shape. Okay, I'm going to do another one.
Hey, Tom, can you move the camera over so we can get a side angle of that, please? Thank you.
You're welcome. Is that pretty side angle?
Sure is.
All right, here we go. I'll put a little more white on there so you can see it better. All right, that's a nice bird. That's a start. It's going to get a little more busy here. Hold on. Kind of went that way this time. Kind of went that way. See, this time I drew a V and then I veered off this way. Okay, a little more white. Got a few birds back here. Now, if there's no dark here, these are going to be hard to see. Okay, it's another bird. Got a few over here on the other side. I'll get to these later. I just want to establish this. I'm also going to take this liner brush, as long as it's in my hand. I'm going to paint in where I graffitoed off, where the boats are in the back. So you see how much better this shows up when you're, there you go. Okay. Now I'm going to go make some dark. So watch this, guys. There's a couple of birds. One of them looks like he needs feathers groomed or something. So now I'm going to make a dark color. I'm taking my medium. So I need dark and light. So this will be my light, this will be my dark. So I have a little white in here. That's okay. Let's take some red, permanent red. let's take some alizarin. Let's go to phthalo green. That's getting black now. Do you see that? Actually, alizarin and phthalo green make a nice black. But I always like to put everything in there, the kitchen sink. Here's a little brown, a little blue, and a touch of violet. Now, I don't want this pure black because it's too far away. If it was closer, I would get it pure black or I mean, you know, really dark. So what I'm going to do now is make a mid-range. So this is dark, this is going to be medium gray, and that'll be light. So that's a little bit of white in here, so I don't lose the darkness. If I do, I'll just add more. And I'm going to need this gray color anyhow. So dark, medium gray, back into Gracili again. Okay, let's get back to the birds. Brace yourself, hold your breath, find the end of the tip of that wing, and pull out. Had a lot of coffee this morning. I'm shaky. There you go. That was good. What? What's the? All right, I'm going to add a little more white to this. I'm just going to gray it down a little bit. Ready? Pull. Pull. And we're going to get a little tip down there. Tip of the morning to you. See that? Let's do another one. And we'll go this way with this one. Boom. Isn't that fun? All right, cool. Now on the bottom down here where the boats are, we're going to add a little bit of dark underneath with the liner brush to give it the base. Good. There's another bird up here, I think that's softer. So I'm going to wipe off the brush. It's a little further away. Add more white into my white area. Now, do you see how I just keep tapping? Just keep tapping like this. Let's go do another bird. This one's just kind of like faded out. It's kind of further away. He's there, but he's not as detailed. So I'm going to make the gray even lighter this time. Okay, so these are closer, flying around. And if you make this one lighter, I'll make the gray lighter because that pushes them back further. So I'm going to take something between the two, trying to teach you value here. Look, dark, black, shadowy color, medium dark, grayish gray, and then light. So this is between the two. This is between it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have 5 things going on, you're really getting chiaroscuro. So I want this bird further, so I have to do a lighter gray. And that's the way. See that? A little further away. Now, if it's a little too dark right here, I can just put more white on it. I'll do that. So he looks further. There you go. See, I toned them down. Did you guys see that? No problem, no sweat. All right, staying in the liner brush. I'm going on instinct here. Staying on the liner brush. I'm going to, because it's a great Alexander brush, by the way. I'm going to grab more white, bring it down here. I'm going to add just a touch of yellow to it. See, it's kind of turning a little bit. And then I'm going to put a little touch of red in it, permanent red. Don't need a lot. And look how I'm manipulating this. This is a little more yellow. This is kind of like, look, More white. Look, just pat it. Look. Pat it. Look. Up, 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 up. Play with it, but don't go over here yet. Are you ready? Here we go. And I'm starting in the back so you guys can learn how to get forward on this. I'm going to lay this on, pull it down, pull it away. Okay. I'm going to add more white to it. So I'm putting more white on here. And now I'm going to add more white to it. And can you see how nice that is? Look at that ridge, look. But now I need a dark on it, but I'll get to that in a second. So I'm just going to grab more of the same stuff. Watch this. Pull down. Isn't that nice? Look, it's thick. See, this is the thick on the thin. I had a lady one time, she hated this brush. But after a while, she got used to it. She said, oh, I like it now. All right, now I'm going to add a little bit of pink to it, just to change the flavor. I think I had alizarin. This is a gut instinct thing here. A little alizarin, just to warm it a little bit. All right, I got it. So just like the black and white, I'm thinking about a little bit of color in the boat. And I'm thinking about these little stripes in the boat. You can make them darker, lighter, depending on what you really want. These aren't stripes in the boat. This is where the planks are in the boat. I'm not going to be using a real technical terms here, guys. I'm just trying to get the idea started. Okay, just kind of draw in the direction that you want to do it. And make sure when you're doing this, you're just kind of getting that paint off. And draw. There you go. So I have color in there. Do you see that? I have color. Wipe your brush off and let's highlight that a little bit. Okay. I decided to choose this back here. I had no plan. I'm going on instinct. Though I did think about it. All right, this is lighter. This is whiter. So I'm putting it off to the side. And I'm going to hit this with a little more light on it. In other words, I'm brightening it up a little bit. Now, something you really want to think about when you're doing this, I've got to have at least 5 colors in this thing. Back here, I could have 3 colors in the distance. But here, as you start coming closer, you got to have about 5 colors. I'm going to come back to this and add more color. But right now, I've got the idea of what I want. So I'm going to go to the next thing I want to do. Okay? Remember to come back because you need the yellow. Let me show you this. You need the yellow and the red. You also need these colors and the blue reflective colors. So I'm not avoiding this. I'm just avoiding it at this point. Okay? That's coming. This is going to take a steady hand. If you can't do it this way, grab your palette knife and do it. Woo-wee. Make sure to hold your brush like this. If you have to get a mole stick or put your finger up here like this and brace it, do that. Or just grab the palette knife. Let me show you. Add it in. And do it with the palette knife. Hold your hand on. You just go up or down. Now that I got this in my hand, I want to do something else with it, okay? That's got little wires in there. I want to do a few of them, but I don't want, I've got to put some blue in here. So I don't want to go too far with it. Going back to my dark and my medium, I'm going to kind of tap this. Now, if this isn't thin enough, you got to add a little bit of medium to it. Let's see, if I draw it down, did I get a line? Yes. So you go like this. Check it down here, guys. Look. Did I get a line? That's the answer is yes. Okay, so I'm going to put a little more light in it, and then I get a lighter line. So, or you can use your liner brush meticulously and hold your breath. Either one. Now we have angles going down this way. Now you have to find out where they start. They don't start at the top. They start about here. Okay, and count them out. There's like 5 here. Yeah, like 5. 1, 2. Run out of paint while you do this, guys. Don't worry about adding more paint. If you hit this, don't worry, because there's a lot of stuff overlapping it. Just try to start off in the same place, though. Okay, see how nice that was? Now what I want you to do is I want you to take a little dark, watch this little action. See the little point of the palette knife? I want you to take this, pull some dark in, and then even put a little light in it at the same time. That's pretty simple. Now there's these little things on here. You just go like this. Pop, pop. Pick out which ones you want. See what I'm doing there? Look. Another one. Just tap it in. If it doesn't look exactly like it, don't worry. Get a little more dark if you want. Just pick up some. If you don't see them, pick up one and make it a little darker underneath. How about that? How about that action? And then maybe another one up here. You never know. That was a good move. I kind of pressed it a little bit more. You can even draw out a little tiny thing up here. Look. That's where you're going to stand and go, yo, land or something. All right. Taking that off there. Now, it started back here. I think I started back here for a reason. That was to get you to start learning how to come forward in the painting. But I'm going to grab my palette knife now, and I want to do something that's not in the picture. I'm actually going to add this because I don't see it. It's got to be here, even though I'm not seeing it in the painting. I'm going to take this brush horizontally and hold it with the light that's in there, and I'm going to put some of this in the water because it has that color. Okay. It's kind of there, but not enough. Okay, good. Now I'm going to refine this a little bit. So coming down here, I'm going to take a little more dark. Now, if you're losing your dark, good idea is just make more. So just jump into your alizarin, jump into your phthalo green and your brown. That'll get you there. And the brown is going to be good because you're going to need that later anyhow. Now you just want to refine your shape. So I need to have a little dark on this side to bring that out. I need to have a little bit more of a dark thing coming down here just to give it some spunk, you know, some life. And then there's something going on here, a divisional thing going on. And I want to get to that blue, but I've got to remember where I want the blue at. I want it up in here. It gives it a little nice color. So blue-gray, if this brush has a black in it already, and I jump into blue, I'm doing pretty well. It's blue-gray. So let's do it. And don't be accurate, you guys. Listen, you can make your, just as long as you got some good angles in here, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, I'm wiping off the brush. I'm taking white. Now I'm going to do something interesting. I'm going to separate my blue. This is my dark, medium, and light, and then I'm putting my reflective color here. You could basically do any painting this way. I want a powdered blue color, kind of blue-gray. Blue-gray works in a lot of things. Okay. If you don't like the liner brush, go to a different brush. Pick up something like in a package at Walmart or something that's smaller. But I like the liner brush because I get a lot of flow with it. Advertising the Alexander brush. I like the liner brush. Let's get that blue in there because we need a little bit of that happening. See that? This gives it more flavor. Pull it back into for the red. Now, if the blue touches the red, it turns kind of violet. That's a good thing. I'm going to put a little blue on this side. Because remember now, even though the boat's sitting here, what you have is a lot of reflective blue coming up from the water. While I'm here, I'm going to refine this a little bit and put a little in there. The more color, the better it looks. You see how much better that looks with more color? I'm even going to drag some of this out here, look. Just to kind of refine this area. And down here on the end of this boat, I'm going to probably put a little more. Draw your lines in, you guys. Get busy. I'm trying to get you to see. In my mind, let me explain myself. In my mind, I'm isolating this like a grid. I'm actually looking at it in a grid form, and then I'll grid this out in my mind. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to grid this out because I know in my first process, I never really got what I wanted. So I'm just kind of getting it closer to what I think I can get in here. Okay, that's really what my brain's doing. I'm literally gridding this out. I'm thinking, oh, that's a little picture all by itself. If you took a snapshot of that, that would be a nice little painting. Like if you did it on a small canvas, you could put that in the hallway or something. And somebody go, oh, wow, how'd that happen? You say, well, I'm a genius. No. All right, ready? So I'm going to take white, tap it down with the palette knife. I told you when we started this painting, I'm going to be into palette knife and brushes. Sooner or later, I'm going to show you the power of the fan brush. So now, with thicker paint, I'm going to start creating the ridges of the water. If you don't do this, then your painting, it just looks like a good underpainting, but there's no water. Same thing, guys. You got to get the water happening. Hold your knife down, pick up the paint, and start imagining that water being in there. Look. All I'm doing is tapping it. If you get too much, don't panic. Just keep tapping it and stretch it out. Sometimes I overdo it, like I'll just grab too much. But see, if you don't put this on top, you're not going to have that shimmery water. You've got to have that shimmery water in there. I'm just tapping the white. Can you see that? I'm just tapping this. And I'm trying to bring a little bit of that light into the painting. If you don't like it thick, you can always take your fan brush. You can soften it down. Now this takes a little work. Sometimes you got to keep going back and forth with it and load it up more. Sometimes you got to load it up a little more. There, look. Just a horizontal line back and forth, back and forth. And you got to sort it. Now here's the thing, guys. If you've ever been to the ocean, you know the water is not sitting still like a lake is sometimes. So you got to see the little shimmers of water on top of this stuff. All right, so I'm going to work my way down like this. I'm going to get a little more. I'm just trying to build up that water here. Look at that, just laying it in. This is the fun part. This is where everybody goes, yay, I'm painting. Look, see shimmer me timbers? Look, timber, that's a timber down there. I didn't know what to call it. Pilings or timber or something like that. All right, all this water needs some action. All right, so we're getting that action in now. Okay, looking good. There we go. Now that we got that in, I can go do some, now these boats are docked, so I can go back to the gray and put some lines down into the water. But if you want to soften it, and that's your thing, you can take your your fan brush, and you can just come in and just sweep it gently like this. So it's not as thick. Just barely touch it, you guys. Oh, that was a seagull. Mew, that was a beach cat. All right, you get the point? Just come across like this and soften it real gently. All right, nice work, Tom. Pat yourself on the back when you get to that point. Come back down to your gray. Find your gray down here somewhere. Even a little bit of that light color wouldn't be bad. Just don't go super dark on this, okay? Now there's a lot of ropes down in the water. Excuse me, allergies. And what you want to do is just come up here and start doing this, because it's all these crazy little things in here that make it look good. Start pulling these down into the water. Go through your colors. Don't worry about it. It's a lot of it. There's a ton of stuff in here. Just take your time with this. You're even dragging some of the color that's here down into that spot, you guys. Down here. I like to do this. Sometimes I'll go like that and make it look like it's in the water too, and then go back over it, you know, like that. Just come at it really with more gusto, I think. Put a little more light in there if you want. Just pick up more light and drop it in, because the more color you get, the better. All right, that's a good start right there. Leave that alone. Move on to the next step. Okay, the power of the fan brush. I did that on purpose to show you the power of the liner brush, because you already know the power of the palette knife. You saw me do that palette knife painting. Let's talk about the fan brush. This is fairly new. And I'm going to grab a little white over here, drop it here. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. A little bit more. A touch of the permanent red, barely. Now watch this, guys. Boom. Don't mix. Don't mix. You don't want to be a great mixer. Here we go. So you can use the fan brush in a lot of different ways. What if I only use the corner of the fan brush and I slid down the part of this eave thing right here? What if I did this? Boom. It worked. That was cool, huh? What if I flip it over now and use the other side if it's loaded? If it's not, look, that's not loaded with paint. You see that? So maybe I want to load it up more. Let's load it up with a little more white and a little bit more yellow just for fun, but don't mix it well. Now I'm pushing in, and that's giving me a little more paint at the end when I shovel it in and lift it. All right, I'm holding it this way because I'm going to touch this and slide it down gently. Bam. Was that fun or what? That was fun to me. It's a little pink, but I can add more white to it. Okay. Now, when you look at the picture, mine's not going to be exactly the same, but I actually did it too perfect. What? You did it too perfect. Let me show you what's going on. It looks more rough. You see my black underneath here? What the artist did quickly was they ruined that perfect shape. Here's how they did it. So I'm going to take some alizarin on another fan brush and a little bit of medium. Add just a touch. That'll get the dark to go in better. Phthalo green, brown, and just get yourself a dark. Now watch me. This fan brush is kind of old. I don't care. But there's a lot of crazy stuff in this painting that looks really good. if you think your architecture is too good up here, just take a brush like this, come in and get underneath here and pat it and ruin the good look. Do you see what I did there? I ruined it, but I made it better, actually. I ruined it, but I made it. How do you do that? You take your dark sometimes and you ruin things and it looks really good. I'm going to turn it over. There you go. See that? So if this is all looking too nice, it's time to ruin stuff. All right. Now, taking this same brush, I'm wiping it off. Now I have that weird ruined look. And I'm going to see if I can get the blue-gray in there. So I'm jumping over to my white, back into the, see, that's going to turn blue-gray. A little more blue in it, and bam. So one brush has yellow and red in it, and the other brush can work between the phthalo blue, gray, and black. So if I wipe it off, I can keep going back and forth. If you want a third brush, that's up to you. So now I'm going to take a little more white. I just want some texture in here. And just add a little more white. I'm going to go right in here. I'm just going to start walking the paint down. I'm going to go a little lighter so you can see it better. Here we go. Shoveling it in. I'm a little lighter, so I've got a little dark and a little light in it too. So these are like little wood slats going down. I'm going to walk this paint down, look. Walking the dog. All right, that was good. And then you can soften a little bit, but you need a little bit of texture going on. Okay. Down here. Now, back to my light. Can you guys see the roughness of that? And this is not, now I'm going to explain something to you. This is called realistic impressionism. If I stay over here and I do thin layers of paint for a long time and build it up, I can create realism out of that. It just depends on your style, what you're trying to do. That's a good thing to know, right? So when I did my Gracili underneath here, all these grays, I have the option of doing two processes, fine art or realistic impressionism. Bam, I hope you guys like that idea. There's really not much of a difference in the beginning. All right, white, down here, pat, add a little yellow, pat, a little more white, and don't overwork it. See what I did? I like both styles. I do both. Bringing in my yellow. I'm going to put a little more red in it. But that looks nice and vivid, doesn't it? I think the reason for what I'm doing here, this is a permanent red to show up. There it is. The reason I'm doing this is colors make everything. If you don't have any color, I'll put a little color in that. Look how nice that is. See how nice the color is in there? So now I got to pick options here. I got to touch this. I got to pick what I want. There you go. There you go. That was nice. There you go. There you go. So nice color in there. Do you see that? You know, here's the beauty of this. If you let this sit, come back and do it in days later, you're just going to have nice things going on. All right, switching the brush. Hope you guys are having fun. Back down to my white and my blue, and I'm always trying to check to see if it looks okay. I think that's going to be good. I'm going to get a little blue reflective light on the back of this building here, and then add some more detail as I go. Okay, so I'm going to follow the pattern of the building going down this way. So I'm basically going in the angle that I see here. I'm just going down this way. And there's going to be a little skylight there. So follow that angle. If you go horizontally perfect, you're not going to be in too bad a shape. Now, I'm going to add a little dark into it because I can. Once you have a base color down something like this, you can put dark back in it and light back in it. Okay? So that's all you need to know. I'm wiping off the brush again. And I'm going to use the dark for different reasons. I got a plan here. I'm taking more of the alizarin down in here. Now remember, if this starts to get a little thick, just add a little medium so it flows better. I'll add a little touch, just a dot or so. A little more phthalo green, which is part of the whole painting. A little more brown. Flatten it out. I don't want it super dark, so watch this, guys. Even in your reflective color, you have a mid-range of dark. Look at this. So I'm going to pull a little bit of that blue back into it and even add a little bit. Watch. This is where you just kind of get experimental. So now this is kind of a deep blue gray. This is a lighter reflective gray, and this is still black. So you have ranges of reflective color. So let's do it. So that's not going to look good if I just leave it that way. So what I want to do is use this dark into this color, which is synergenic with the rest of the picture, and I can melt into it and refine things. See, I'm getting a deeper tone where I want it, and yet I still have some reflective color in there. If I have to put more back in, I will. Now I want it a little deeper over here, so I'll put light on it. See, the deal is I can go back and forth anytime I want. It's just about knowing how much, see how nice that is? Look. It's knowing what your colors are, your range of colors. So I have a little window thing right there. And there's a lot of things covering all this up, you guys. Like a lot of little crazy little movements, you know, inside here. They're fun though, they're good. So that's what I did. I deepened that, and I'm going to put a little more light back on it. That's just how it goes. Wiping this off. Shoving back into my light. I could have started with the dark, but I wanted to show you how you could literally do that. It's just up to you. Plus it helped me soften it a little bit, by the way. So I'm going to put a little bit more back in. See that? Look, back and forth, back and forth. I'm also going to use some of this over here in the building. Now I can go to my liner brush and really make it fine. Picking up this color, the same color. And I can go in like this. And I can just sort of like get the deeper spots that I don't have, like that. Do you see that? Because these colors are synergenic with each other, you can manipulate this a lot. And then even while you're here, watch this, guys. Put a little bit of that in the dark. Look, that just makes common sense. Leave it alone and get off that. Talk to yourself. Everything you're doing, art white, please. Art white. Every time you're doing this, you're constantly thinking about putting another color in, more dark, more light, more dark, more light. So now I'm going to jump into more dark for this window over here because you can't see it. So I'm going down down here. I wiped off the brush a little bit. More phthalo, alizarin crimson, phthalo green, and brown. If you want some blue and violet, go for it. It doesn't matter, just don't get a lot. Back in here where you can't see the window, I need to bring the window out. That's going to need more light later too, by the way. Because what you can see here is I don't have all the colors that I want. I don't have all the colors I want here, so I have to get close to making all this. Now, back to the, I don't know why there's so many lines across here, but it just makes the painting work. But here we go. There's more lines than meets the eye. All right, more white into this. And it's kind of my dark and everything. I think it's just hiding a lot of superfluous stuff that I don't know what it is. All right, so there's all these lines in here. I have no idea why. To be honest with you, they're just there. Okay. And they just kind of take away certain things. All right, cool. Let's leave that. Now, and I'm wiping my hands a lot, you guys. It's just the way it is. I think I'll grab the palette knife, just the instinct here. And pick up a little of the lighter blue and just get this over with. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in, just like this. All I'm doing is tapping up and down. That helped a lot. And now I can go to the fan brush, but as long as I got the palette knife in my hand, let's do it. I'm not just a palette knife painter. Don't get that impression, you guys. Here's the light. But there is a combination of, if you look at this painting up close, there's a combination of both palette knife and brush. You can see it all over. So I'm going to lay that in. And then I'm going to stick with this because I want to get this area kind of done so I can get this boat going over here too. Feeling like I'm on a palette knife roll at this point. So just do it. Do what your gut tells you. Up and down, up and down. A little more white in it. Okay. A little touch of yellow. I want to change the flavor. You know, you might want a little more yellow, a little more white. It's just up to you. Really is kind of a discretion thing. Okay, up and down. See this? Look, guys, up and down. And then you can turn your knife this way, look, and just kind of soften it a little, like this. Do a very, very light touch. Turn your palette, load your palette knife again, and go backwards this way. So the light's on this side. That's nice. See that? Look how nice that was. I had a lot of people that painted with palette knife when I had my art studio, and they were like, some people just love it and some people can't take it. All right. So I tried to show you how to use the fan brush too. I'm going to go back to the fan brush just because I mentioned that. Yellow, back to the light, white, pat it. You're probably thinking, why did he pick the fan brush? Well, I picked it for a reason. Because it does give you these little kind of weird little shapes when you want them. All right, that could use more dark in there. But let's go up here now. So what I'm doing is I'm just finding things I need to do. Okay, there is a nice white line that goes right through the door. What the? All right, you see there's a light here and a dark on one side. And it starts out here, actually, it drops, so I'd have to move the building over slightly. So let me do that now. What are they trying to do to me here? Making things hard? All right, white, yellow, white, and a little touch of the red. Don't overmix. So I'm going to try to line this up a little closer to the painting. So I'm going to actually attack that line right in the middle of the door so I can go walk it up the painting. I'll put the dark on the backside in a minute. That's a big bravery test, by the way, everybody. Okay, that doesn't have any dark on the other side, so it's not going to work yet. But I want you to see I just did it with light. It doesn't matter. All right, back to white. If you do light, then put dark in. If you do dark, then put light in. I'm doing the same thing. I'm using this color. And I'm going to do it here too. Watch. There's a little angle here underneath here. Holding that together. Did you see those actions? That action? Those actions. All right. Now up in here, there's some more light. So I'm back to my palette. And now I'm going to connect it to where it's holding up to the building. Holding the brush down like I did before over here, I'm just going to go ahead and put this color in. Draw down where my slats were that I kind of imaged in there earlier. I got a lot of red. That pink looks good though. And then I'm going to fix this corner, just kind of improvise on it. I'll put more dark in there to look better. I'm going to add a little more yellow to my color. By the way, a peachy color is always good. Then your painting looks peachy keen. Same, a little more yellow in it though. Okay, I didn't change it much. Okay, I didn't change that much, but I changed it enough to help it. I'm going to jump back to my dark brush. This is the jumping back class. This is the class where you're jumping back and forth. Brown into this, burnt umber, into my dark, kind of warming it up a little. Flatten the brush out. Now, if your brush doesn't come chiseled, or if you want to use a palette knife, that's fine. This looks like it's okay. It's chiseled. So I'm going to go in where I should. If it's not very chiseled, just grab your palette knife or grab your, let's see here, grab your Alexander flat sable brush. That's a good brush to use. I'm just trying to be bold here. Don't try to be like me on this, guys. I'm being a little crazy on this. Look. Put the dark behind that light. And walk her up, walk her up. See that? It worked. If you want to use that flat brush, go for it. That's another thing you can do. Basically, use everything you can get in there to make it happen. I'm mixing back more brown back into this. I'm warming up the dark to brown tones. Okay, let me go in here, put a little dark in, more dark. Got to build up the darks. I think I mentioned this before. Whenever you have a painting you're working on, your darks are not always going to be there for you. You've got to get them, you got to work with the darks over time. Put a little there, a little here. And I'm going to get a little crazy dark stuff underneath here after I do the light. I picked this side of the painting because I'm going to shift it later and do this side, but hopefully you guys are starting to see what my thinking is. So I'm going to pick up a little more yellow, a little more white, toss it in. Now up here, everything's just kind of weird. It's like weird movements. It almost looked like the artist didn't care. All right. So I got this nice little thing going like that. I'm twisting the brush, you guys, as I do it. But up here, everything's a little more like this, kind of like a U shape. So I'm touching the top of this like that. I'm kind of flipping it. Let me get a little more white in there so you can see it better. Okay, I'm going to do it here so you can really see it. And remember, that doesn't mean I need more dark too, but well, I'll do it right here. Watch. A little flip up, kind of a flip upward. I got to do it better than that. Hold on. Flip up, flip up, flip up, flip up, flip up, flip up, a flip up. And there you go. Now, that looks like nothing's happening, but then again, you have to go back to your dark again. So I'm picking up my dark down here, put a little more blue in it because it's up there in that more grayed area. Picking that up. I need to get the design going down this way. And then it just gets really kind of iffy over here. You almost can't tell. And I'm going to turn it this way and see if that looks like the right perspective. Well, anyhow, underneath it, you can get the liner brush and do this. Go underneath. And it doesn't look like this on the picture, actually. But I want you to see how to do it, because you're going to have to make it look worse than it actually looks. So I'm going underneath these with a little flip too, see? And then I have to ruin the bottom. I'm grabbing more the same dark, you guys. And I have to get under here and put my little design back like this, so it looks better. See, I'm using the corner of the brush, I'm flipping it, see? Like that. And even though I'm doing this, I need the blue reflective up here, but I also need dark on the back side. So I'll establish that too. I want to put a bird right there. For some reason, my brain said, put a bird there. But you know, it's not in the picture, but I want to do it. Anyway, I'm going to grab my I could see this was done with a lot of palette knife and brush, but it was kind of like super rapid. Where most things in here aren't even designed well, but they look great because of that. Now see, I'm throwing these up. This is like the French painting we did, you guys. Remember that? We threw these up there. Okay, real quickly, trying to get as much in here today as possible. Hopefully you guys will see this. Trying to get, got my wife over there doing the signals for me. She's telling me it's time to close it down. So I got my white and blue. And now I'm going to go back here where this needs to happen. Remember that? A little lighter. Can't see it. Make it a little lighter, guys. There you go. See that? And there's a little bit on this side. And there's a little bit through the window. So watch this. I got it on the small part of the knife. Go down the window in the middle. Then come through here like this and just kind of wing it like this. Just pull that paint across. If it doesn't come off, reload again. There you go. Sometimes you just got to get in and force the issue. There it is. See that? Now later on, you can just come in with little, like more dark on your palette knife and just come in like this and put extra dark slats in there. Just kind of refine everything. Look. Just come, even this, go back and refine it. Refine that. This is all going to start looking really nice as time goes, but you know how it is. One more thing, and I hope you guys are enjoying today. I'm going to finish this out tomorrow over here, and then I'm going to start working on that. And then I think we have one more time after that, don't we? Here's a little red on this. Let me show what I did. I picked up red, put it in here. Got a little warmer this time. So I try to give you a little bit of palette knife painting, a little bit of brush painting. The almighty fan brush can do a lot of good stuff. Come across like this, you guys. Build that up. Don't worry about it if you get a little sloppy. You can always lift it off and refine it. Or put more dark back in. I want a little crazy stuff up here too, look, in the blue. See? You just don't want your colors to stay in one place too much. How much better that gets. See, when you have time to really work on stuff, you can be really good at this. Let me put a little bit more. Now, see, that looks kind of like it's bowing down. So now we got a problem, Houston. All right, a little bit more alizarin crimson, phthalo green, and brown. And I'm going to lift this up so it doesn't look so like it's the building's falling apart, which it is pretty old, but you know. So just straighten your area out. If it doesn't go in well, don't panic. You can always adjust this later. I had to look at the camera to see that. If it doesn't go in really well, here's something you want to think about. When I put that on there, it didn't go in very well. So this is when you got to loosen the paint up and the dark will go through that lighter tone. So I'm going to take a little magic clear, put it down here, add alizarin, phthalo green, brown, back here, make it thinner so it actually does, I may put a little bit more. Look, it's more washy. Do you see that? It's more fluid. Now this should go in much easier, watch. To refine this. It should, there it is, look. That thinner paint will take away the problem. Do you see that? Good, good. Myrtle nodded her head. That's a good, thank you, Myrtle. All right, so now, one more thing on this. And then I'll finish that, and then we'll go here to the next time. I'm going to take a little white, drop it down here in the blue-gray. Now, I didn't clean my brush this time because I don't really care. I just want something shadowy, something in a mid-range. This is sort of a gray tone, so I'm not worried about it. Look, I want to go this way and draw these underneath here where they're kind of in shadowy color. They're sort of neutral. That's what I think I'm trying to say there. They're more neutral. There. This looks a little sloppy. Fix it if you want. But hey, if you look at the original picture, it's really done quickly and sloppily after all this drawing's down. And it looks better that way, actually. Yeah, I don't even want to stop you guys, to be honest with you, but I have to based off of the life of myself. Watch this, guys. I got a little more brown. This is when I get on a roll. When I'm just doing this by myself, I just keep going like that, and I just keep adding paint, taking it off, adding it on. I'm just having fun now at this stage. I need some reflective blue under there. But yeah, that's what's so nice about our Beyond classes. All of this can be done at our own pace. And even if you don't get something on here, we come back to it and we actually show you, right, Myrtle? She's nodding her head, yes. We come back and show you that more can be done there. One last movement, you guys. Yellow and permanent red on the end of the brush. I mean the palette knife. Here we go. Whoopsie. Bam. I'll put more dark in between there so it shows up better. How'd you guys enjoy that today?